Hey everybody, how's it going today? I've got ribs slow cooking in the oven right now. That video will come a little bit later. But in the meantime, why don't we make ourselves a mighty meaty chili to get ourselves by? Because, you know, waiting for ribs to slow cook for 4 hours is absolutely no fun, and I've got all this delicious protein sitting right here in front of me. I apologize to all my vegan friends. This is definitely not going to be a vegan-friendly video at all, but it will be keto-friendly. So if you're watching those carbs and you like to have a nice bowl full of protein and tomatoes, basically, you're going to love this video. So when I make chili, I always use my cast iron skillet. Her name is Sheila. We've been through a lot together. I've seasoned her for many, many years now, taking great care of her. She's been preheating for the last couple of minutes. You always want to start with the fattiest meat first, because then the fat will stay in the pan for you to cook the rest of your meat with, and your vegetables too. I like to add a little bacon into my chili. I also like to add a little sausage into my chili and a little ground beef into my chili. Sometimes I even throw chicken in there, but today I kept it a little bit. And now we're going to brown the bacon in Sheila. That's right. We're just going to let Sheila do her thing, brown that bacon for us, get it nice and crisp, and then we're going to remove it, and we're going to add the sausage to the frying pan and move on from there. Okay, now that the bacon's had a chance to brown up, we're going to remove it and put it in a bowl on the side. It's going to continue cooking. That's called carryover cooking. That's when meat keeps cooking from the heat that's inside of it. That'll get crisp on the side while we don't do anything to it. And in the time being, we'll continue on with the ground beef, because that has the next highest fat content out of our meats. And those juices will drip into the pan as well, giving us a really nice base for our sausage when we're finally ready to cook it. We're going to continue to stir our ground beef while it browns, and we're going to add some spices. Right now I'm adding cumin. Cumin gives it a really earthy flavor. That's the same flavor you get from tacos when you eat them in the taco meat. And then we're going to add some chili powder as well. Chili powder, well, obviously, that's where the chili gets its chili flavor from. Unless you have some fresh chilies to chuck in there. This time of year, I just didn't have any fresh chilies. I really like chipotle chili powder because it has a really nice smoky flavor. And I think smokiness is probably one of the boldest, most appealing flavors there is known to mankind. So I'm going to continue stirring my beef now. I'm going to get it nice and brown. In the meantime, while it's doing its thing in the cast iron skillet, we're going to get ready to move on to the next step, which is slicing up our sausages. So we're going to move over to our cutting board now. Here I have some mild Italian sausages. We're just going to take a chef's knife, and we're just going to cut them into meatball-sized portions. That's right. You don't need to cut them tiny. You don't need to cut them huge. Make it consistent. They cut pretty easily. And then when we chuck them in the frying pan, they'll actually cook up to be meatballs, which is exactly what we want. A nice big chunk of seasoned meat in our chili. So that's pretty cool. I'm also going to cut up an onion. I thought I had a Spanish onion, so I didn't buy one today when I went to the grocery store. I actually don't, but I did have a leftover red onion. Red onions are super bold in flavor, super sharp. I actually like them on everything. In the grand scheme of things, when you're putting them in a pot with a bunch of other flavors, you're not going to notice the difference anyways. And so I found it okay to make it a substitute this time around in my chili. It's not going to affect the end result. So we're going to continue to stir our chili. We're going to continue to make sure the meat's browning evenly. There's a lot of fat in medium ground beef, so it might take a little bit longer than your lean or extra lean ground beef to brown, but that's okay. We've got time. We're going to get that out of the way, and we're going to move on to our canned ingredients. For my canned ingredients, I have diced tomatoes. That's right, just a plain, simple can of diced tomatoes. Next, my secret ingredient, Heinz barbecue-style baked beans. I know you're supposed to use kidney beans, but I love these beans. They add so much extra flavor in there that it's ridiculous. Only 20 grams of carbs per can. When you're getting 10 to 15 bowls out of a pot, that's no carbs per serving at all, basically. We're going to pour them all in the pot together. So we get the beans going in the pot. Don't bother drain tomatoes. We're going to simmer it all afternoon. The extra liquids will reduce out of there, so you don't need to worry about that. We'll pour that in the pot. Then we have a full-size can of tomato paste. This is important because I'm going to add a lot of chicken stock in a couple of minutes to this chili. This tomato paste, it's going to thicken everything up for us at the end result. That's right. After like 3.5 to 4 hours of simmering on low heat, that tomato paste, it'll combine with everything and just thicken the whole chili up and give you that thick chili consistency that you're looking for. Now that my meat is browned, we're going to transfer it to the pot with the canned ingredients. That's right. Pretty simple stuff. I'm making a huge mess on my stove right now. I'm trying to hide it with the camera angle, but you can probably still see it in the background. That's okay. We're going to get that all cleaned up here in a minute. Now that the meat's out of the pan, we've got all that fat in there still, we're going to add the sausage, we're going to add the red onion, and we're going to stir that all around while it browns up in the pan. Okay, remember that bacon we browned up earlier in the cast iron skillet and we moved it aside? Well, it finished cooking all by itself. That's called carryover cooking. We're going to chop it up into bacon bit-sized pieces. You could put these bacon bits on just about anything, from Caesar salads to, you named it, chilies. We're going to add those bacon bits to the pot, chuck the cutting board in the sink, clean that later. Let's take a look at our sausage and red onions. They got a little bit time left to go, probably about a minute and a half. So we're going to give those a little bit of a stir, let them do their thing. We're going to move back to the pot of chili. We're going to add another ingredient. We're going to add bay leaves. That's right, bay leaves. You don't eat them, but they're full of flavor. This chili is going to stew all afternoon long, and those bay leaves are going to release so much extra depth and flavor to our chili, it's going to be ridiculous. Now we're going to add the sausage to our chili. Whoa, man. Oh, sorry, that's hot. Put an oven mitt on. And now we're going to add that sausage and red onion to our chili. Here we go. Put that all in the pot and put your cast iron skillet aside. Make sure you clean your cast iron skillet. Your cast iron skillet, the most important instrument you'll ever have in your kitchen. I promise you can't live without one. Once you've had one, you need it forever. Now we're going to mix everything together. We're going to evenly distribute all the flavors in our pot and get ready to move on to the next step of our stewing process. Chili, it's almost time. You may have noticed that our chili looked kind of thick. Well, it did. So we're going to add some chicken stock just to give it a little bit more of a liquid feel, more of a soup stew type feel. That tomato paste will thicken all that up in the end anyways, so don't feel bad about making it a little runny to start out with. And the final step of our chili. Not everyone likes mushrooms, and if you don't like mushrooms, by all means, don't add them. But we love mushrooms in this house, and button mushrooms cook up so small and they absorb every ounce of flavor in this entire chili. They're fantastic. So just add them in and stir them all up. Alright, our chili has been just simmering for about half an hour. Looks good, looks great. We're going to put the lid on it, and we're going to bring it to low heat and let it simmer for about 3.5 hours. Hey guys, the chili's been simmering all afternoon. Low heat. The tomato paste has brought everything together, thickened it all up. Those baby mushrooms have absorbed every last bit of flavor they possibly can. This is all ready to go into a bowl with some shredded cheese. Maybe you like bread. Maybe you want to take a roll and just dip it in that juices and eat the roll too. Please do, because you know what? That's how you do chili. We had the final product, ladies and gentlemen, a 3-meat mushroom chili with sharp cheddar cheese sprinkled on top. So gooey, so thick. Thanks for watching. Please share all my videos. Old Brother Cupboard on YouTube. I love all the support I'm getting. See y'all next time.